Hey guys, this is Kim Wren with the Money Freedom Movement podcast, where our job is to help you to optimize your money so that you can live financially free. And I've really enjoyed my conversations recently with folks in the health and nutrition space. So back in episode 8, we got to hear from Kenya Simmons, a personal trainer and my personal trainer here in the Atlanta area. And today we're going to hear from Dr. Bianca Kiovanni. Dr. K is the owner of Advanced Integrated Healthcare. She's a chiropractor and functional medicine practitioner. And you'll get to hear about all the cool things and all the neat ways they get to help people through her practice, through chiropractics and physical therapy, massage therapy, neurotransmitter testing, hormone testing, all kinds of neat stuff. And you'll also hear about this really neat company she is starting to disrupt one of the largest industries in the world. So please enjoy my conversation with Dr. Bianca Kiovanni. Hey guys, this is Kim Wren. We're here live at the Gathering Spot in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here with Dr. Bianca Kiovanni. Did I say that right?
You sure did.
Hey, awesome. Hey. And I'm so pumped to talk with her. She does a little bit of everything, it seems like. But she is the owner of Advanced Integrated Healthcare, where she teaches people and helps people reach and progress towards healthy living.
Absolutely.
So, Dr. Bianca, would you, or Dr. Kiovanni, what do you want to be referred to as?
Either or is fine.
Either or. Okay.
Kiovanni's a long name, so some of my patients call me Dr. K.
Dr. K. Let's do that. I like that. Dr. K, would you just tell us just a bit about your story, your background, how you got into health, what... she's giving me a face like, do you want the long version or the really long version?
I'm like, how much time do we
have? Take your time. Just tell us a bit about your story.
Okay, so I'm the owner and founder of Advanced Integrated Healthcare, LLC. We're in Atlanta, Georgia.
Shout out.
I've been in private practice in April will make 17 years.
Hey.
Long time.
That's awesome.
Just dedicated to doing everything we can to help our patients reach optimal health. A lot of people are getting more into their health, want to know more about how to stay healthy, how to avoid generational health issues that run in their families. But a lot of people don't know where to start. And so we're very education heavy. So we're not just about talking at our patients, we're about talking to our patients, making sure you understand.
Right.
And that's one of the main issues with healthcare in the United States is people go to the doctor and the bedside manner is not, there, the education's not there, the understanding isn't there. And so people are kind of going it on their own. So we're trying to basically wrap our arms around each patient, understanding that we're all unique individuals and what do we need to do to get you to the health that you're looking for.
Yeah, that's awesome because it can be intimidating to go to the doctor.
It's very intimidating.
Yeah, like I know in the past, like I've had to like write lists of what I need to ask about, and then I get too nervous when I'm there or whatever.
Or some people don't have enough time.
Right.
And, sometimes 5 minutes isn't enough to go through, your health history.
Yeah.
And I educate my patients, if that doctor is too busy to listen, that may not be the doctor for you. So you want to make sure you're getting your needs met, especially if you're spending your money.
Hey, let's talk about
throwing to the money freedom movement.
Yes, for sure. No, that's phenomenal. So tell us just like more specifically, what kind of services do you provide at your practice?
Okay, so we offer a wide variety of services. First and foremost, I'm a chiropractor. Most people ask me, how did I get into chiropractic? Because that wasn't my original healthcare, my foray into healthcare. I was originally going to school to be a surgeon. I'll have to come back and tell you how I made that pivot.
Sure.
But we offer chiropractic care. I'm also licensed to do physical therapy. I have massage therapists on staff. We do blood work, so we can check any and everything. We do hormone testing. We do neurotransmitter testing. What? And most people have heard of neurotransmitters. They have good names like melatonin and serotonin. Well, you need to know, are your levels optimal? Are they suboptimal? We do food and environmental allergen testing. Most people know about peanut allergies and gluten and things of that nature. Well, are you sensitive to anything? Is that something that would benefit your health?
Right.
Let's see. We do, like I said, we have a saying in my practice, if we don't have it, you don't need it.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. We also do breast and full body thermography.
Okay.
Ionic foot detoxification.
Wow.
We also carry organic pharmaceutical grade nutritional supplements.
Okay.
So making sure our patients get not necessarily an overly expensive product, but a quality product.
Got you. Can you go back to hormonal testing? Because I know that's like sort of becoming a buzz thing in society these days. Can you talk a little bit more about like what are some of the signs and symptoms of hormonal imbalances? When should somebody go see somebody like you?
There are a lot.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize, especially for women, but things like hair loss, adult acne, uncontrolled weight gain, sugar cravings, for women, fibrocystic breasts, uterine fibroids, ovarian cysts, PCOS, sugar cravings, salt cravings. On the male side, same thing, weight gain around the abdomen, lack of energy, not sleeping at night. You'd be surprised how many millions of people don't sleep through the night.
Wow.
And most people, if you're listening and you wake up between 1 and 4 o'clock in the morning on a regular basis every night, and then when it's time to wake up to go to work, you're too tired, that's a telltale sign of hormone imbalance. Even some digestive issues are actually hormone related.
Really? Okay.
Yes. And so we do the testing to figure out, again, if you're going to spend dollars on your health, it's our philosophy in our practice. Spend your dollars on what you do need.
Right.
Don't waste time and money on things you don't need.
Sure.
And that's what a lot of people do, or they try things with no testing. So how do you even know what you're trying is appropriate for you? And so a lot of times people will also get discouraged with the natural healthcare industry because they'll say, well, I tried that product, or I tried that cleanse, or I did that detox and it didn't work, not knowing if that's even appropriate for you to do in the first place.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. What are some of the most common issues people come to you guys for?
Let's see. Men, I would say lack of energy, lack of sex drive, weight gain. Women, I would say uterine fibroids. And then a lot of my patients, male and female, because I service children, adolescents, adults, and seniors.
Okay.
Lack of energy. Everyone's always tired.
That's huge.
We're all trying to get everything done. We're trying to be entrepreneurs. We want to do this. We want to do that. But, you have to ask your body, you want your body to do all these things. Are you giving your body the proper tools to do what you're asking it to do?
Right.
So I would say probably those things, and then across the board, lack of energy is big right now.
Got you. So when somebody comes to you, let's talk about that for a little bit. Somebody comes to you for lack of energy. I assume you'll do some sort of testing routine, or
we'll start off with an onslaught of paperwork.
Hey,
we do paperwork.
Can't avoid that.
Can't avoid the paperwork.
Right.
If you go into a doctor's office and you're not filling out paperwork, you might want to go somewhere else. And the way we share with our patients is the more we know about you, the more comprehensively we can help you.
Sure.
So we sit down and we review the paperwork, and then the thing I ask all my patients, one is, how can I help you? Because if we're not on the same page about what the end goal is going to be, this is going to be an uphill and very controversial kind of situation. So I want to know from the patient, what do you want? What does optimal health look like to you? Because what it may look like to me may be totally different, which means I might need to educate that patient on a few things so that we're on the same page.
Right.
And so depending on what that patient wants to see happen first, some say, hey, I know I need to lose weight. I know I need to do that. But right now, I need to be able to sleep through the night, or I need my energy to be up. Okay, then we'll work on that, and then we'll kind of slowly get through, the list of things until that patient is happy and living optimal health. Nutrition,
you get it.
It always works.
Yeah.
It always works.
Okay.
Or a lot of times some of my patients will come and they'll say, I've had this issue for years. And I'm not negating that. I just share with them the cause of that issue has not been addressed. And so in addition to being a chiropractor, I'm also a functional medicine practitioner, and that's the whole crux. We don't treat symptoms.
Okay.
We're going after the cause of the problem.
Okay.
When a provider can properly identify and address the cause of the problem, usually 10 times out of 10, there's not very many symptoms left to manage.
So compare and contrast real quick, functional medicine versus maybe what we would call conventional medicine.
A lot of times, and not all the time, conventional healthcare is more symptom driven.
Okay.
I have a symptom, here's a product for it. Well, now that product may or may not come with side effects, so now I need another product to deal with those side effects, and so on and so forth. Where again, what we're trying to do is figure out, okay, we know you have these symptoms. How did you arrive at these symptoms? What was that route? Because a lot of it didn't happen overnight. Some of it has been going on 5, 10, 15, 20 years sometimes.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't even take, it sounds like, that seems like it would take a long time to figure out. But with technology and telemedicine, it doesn't take that long.
Got you. Nutrition.
Love it.
Love it?
Live it.
Live it. Say more. Nutrition.
Nutrition is very important.
Okay.
We're living in a time where people say, well, I don't want to take vitamins. I don't want to take nutritional supplements. But the facts of the matter are that food is not as nutrient dense as it used to be. Meaning, I actually read a book. There's an amazing book called The Magnesium Miracle. I'll come back and talk about that later.
Okay.
But there was a U.S. senator, and he was talking about how one bowl of spinach at one point in time used to give you all the iron that you needed. And he said, now you have to eat 7 bowls of spinach to get the same amount of iron.
Wow.
Here's the problem with that statement. He made it in 1920.
No way.
It's 2020.
No way.
That was 100 years ago. And then if you think, especially if you live in a metropolitan, dense area,
of course.
Think about all the grocery stores. They have to put produce in every grocery store, every convenience store, some gas stations. So you wonder, what's the nutrient density of what you're eating?
That's like terrifying, actually, now that you say that.
Not really, because there are solutions. There are things, but that's one of the reasons why we have to take supplements sometimes. You're not going to, who has time to eat 7 servings of food all day? I don't have time to do that. I'm sure you don't have time to do that.
Don't.
So how do we make that up? Because literally, if you follow some of these food charts, you'd be eating all day long.
For sure.
And nobody has the time or the bandwidth, for that matter, to get that done. So how do we compensate for that?
Got you. Okay. So nutrition. Love it, live it.
Live it.
Live it. Ratios, vegetables, fruit.
A lot of times, depending on, and this is where, we get a little specific, because in my practice, everything we do is customized to the individual.
Of course.
I would say as a blanket statement, probably because with this, Americans, we consume so much sugar, more vegetables than fruit.
Okay.
There's also something, I don't know if you're familiar, Kim, with the glycemic index.
Heard of it.
That is basically how much sugar is in a particular food or food product. And that could be grains, it could be breads, it could be desserts, and so we try to encourage our patients to follow a lower glycemic diet.
Okay.
And that will help maintain blood sugar. It'll also help maintain energy levels.
Got you. Got you. Cool. So, gosh, you just have so many things. I just want to ask you about everything. I'm like struggling with what to ask you about next.
I'll be back.
You'll be back?
If I'm invited back.
You will be invited back.
Okay.
Like, for sure. Let's swing back around to something you talked about earlier, just in your personal story. Why didn't you go the route of being a surgeon?
Wow. Okay. So I was one of those weird people, for the most part. I kind of knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, air quotes, as a child.
As a child.
And I knew I always wanted to be a surgeon. I was that kid. I used to do surgery, air quotes, on my stuffed animals.
I love it.
I would tie a pillowcase around my face, and I would take my mother's sewing kit, and I would sew up my little animals. And I just thought, this is everything. However, my parents raised us holistically.
Okay.
So I grew up taking herbs and supplements, things that are very popular now. I did as a child. So that's the other thing. My background is not, I went to a class and I just got all jazzed up. This is how we lived.
That's awesome.
And so when I got into school, and I was actually working at a very well-known pharmacy, and I was giving out drugs every single day. I would see some of the same people 3, 4, 5 times a week.
Wow.
And I just started thinking to myself, am I helping? Am I a part of the solution? Am I a part of a bigger problem?
Gotcha.
Plus, I was also doing an end run around how I was raised. They would tell us in class, nutrition doesn't mean anything. It's all about, pharmaceuticals. And don't get me wrong, pharmaceuticals are amazing and they definitely have their place, but so does nutrition. And I couldn't just negate one for the other.
For sure.
But I still wanted to help people.
I've heard somewhere, I don't even remember where, but that current doctors, just the way that the educational system is set up for doctors, MDs specifically, that they get maybe a course on nutrition in all their years of preparation?
Depending on the institution. But because, again, we have technology and the internet and our phones are basically computers now, Americans are becoming more savvy and more interested in their health, and they're not wanting to be brushed aside anymore.
Right.
They're wanting to have those more detailed, more intricate conversations. And so, fortunately, a lot of the med school programs are putting more nutrition, clinical nutrition, back into the curriculum so that, doctors can be up on to speed, on what's going on, because a lot of times patients will come in and they'll know more than maybe their provider does. And, there's a lot of,
that could be
arrogance. I'm not even going to say that. Next.
We'll edit that out.
Edit that out.
I love it. So talk about sleep. That's something you mentioned earlier. A lot of people struggle with sleep.
A lot of people struggle with sleep.
Why is that? What are some?
Sleep is super important.
Yeah.
Sleep is your body's time to rest and repair itself. We want to look young. We want our skin firm. We want our skin clear. We want our stomachs flat. We want everything toned. Well, if we're up 18, 20, 22 hours a day, when does the body have time to do that?
Can go a little deeper, however deep you think is appropriate. What is happening in the body when we're asleep?
A lot. Like I said, a lot of rest and repair is occurring. So the cells are repairing themselves, tissues are regenerating, joints are regenerating. You're resetting what's called your circadian rhythm, which also resets your hormones, which allow you to even manage stress. So I actually teach a class on that called Decoding Female Hormones, but a lot of it applies to males too. A lot of times when you sleep, that's the time for your hormone levels to reset themselves. But again, if you're always awake, that's not going to happen. So now you wake up habitually depleted, and now we're depending on coffee and energy drinks and other things to prop us up, when a lot of the times what we need is rest.
Yes.
And one of the things that I even had to learn a hard lesson for myself is being an entrepreneur. I used to equate rest and sleep with being lazy and unproductive.
Say more about that.
Because we all, I could send that email and I could work on that PowerPoint
of
and
course.
I could do that laundry. But again, if you run yourself into the ground, now you're operating from a place of deficiency. And to your point, again, about your podcast, I think the name is amazing. If you have a ton of money and no health,
yes,
you're just as useless.
That's why people like you are so important for me to have on this show, because they're two sides of the same coin.
Absolutely. Or what happens if you save, a good amount of money and then you have to turn around and spend it all because you ran yourself into the ground trying to amass whatever you were looking to come up with.
Another thing we see is people, they work for years, build this beautiful retirement nest egg, and end up having to spend all of it and more in long-term care.
Absolutely. And long-term care is excruciating. People don't even realize.
Goodness.
The average senior citizen facility in Metro Atlanta alone is going, and these are the independent, not the inpatient. The independent is where you can drive your car, kind of come and go as you please. They have a little cafeteria. A lot of those places are $4,000 to $6,000 a month.
It's so crazy.
$4,000 to $6,000 a month.
Like multiple mortgages.
Multiple mortgages.
For the average
it's
person.
6 figures just to live, in your later years.
Yes.
So what are you doing to make sure you're healthy? You're not spending, 70% of your retirement on your health. That investment starts now.
Yes.
And the good thing is, even if you didn't start, as early as you would like, it doesn't mean you can't make those gains up. Kind of like compound interest. You can work and compound your health as well.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I say a similar thing to a lot of my clients who are older, maybe towards retirement years, and they're like, there's no hope for me. It's like, there is. We could still do something. If we continue to not do anything, it's not going to get better.
That's bad.
That's really bad. But we can work and we can build something that you can live on, but we got to start. And we got to be committed to the process.
Exactly. So if you can do a little bit towards your health now, make many investments in your health now.
Yeah.
It's going to serve you a lot better, in the future, because a lot of times now, diseases that we would equate with being older, heart attack, stroke, diabetes, cancer, these things are happening in the 20 to 30 year range now.
Yes.
So the time is yesterday in terms of, getting on board and at least understanding what's going on with your health.
What do you teach your patients about exercise? What role does that play in our lifestyle?
Exercise is super important. Your body, it works just like everything else. If you don't use it, you lose it. You need it to build healthy, bone density, so things like osteoporosis, keeping things like that at bay, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, things like that. However, there are some times where if a patient is extremely fatigued or something like a fibromyalgia, maybe exercise is not, or exercise in the conventional sense is not appropriate.
Okay.
We may start with something a little more relaxed, something like maybe a stretch class or water aerobics. A lot of people don't talk about water aerobics.
Hey.
Most people think water aerobics is only for seniors, and it's not.
I can get hip to some water aerobics.
So water aerobics is amazing. It's not hard on the joints.
Yeah.
So there are ways, and that's, again, what we do. We want to let people know you have more options than you thought.
Yeah.
And the more options you can educate your patients on, most people don't see their health as this huge, daunting thing like retirement. Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? We break it down into small, digestible pieces, and then we kind of conquer it one piece at a time so that, before patients know it, they've adopted a new lifestyle and it wasn't that big of a deal.
Can you, just off the top of your head, maybe tell of a good transformation story, client success story?
Yeah.
Give us a good gem.
So one of my patients, you can actually see her on TV right now. She's been a patient of mine probably almost a decade. She came to me initially for chronic migraine headaches. That's what she came to me for. So we started with, the chiropractic and the stretching and the massage portion. And then she overheard me talking in the practice one day about, hormone testing and supplements. And she does corporate training for a very large corporation. So she's like, I'd like to learn more about that. So then we got into that. Again, in my practice, we also do something called breast and full body thermography. Basically what thermography is it's a heat scan of body tissue.
Okay.
And so what cancer really is uncontrolled rapid cell growth. And so it produces more heat.
Okay.
So she was like, I'd like to try that too. I just want to try everything. So we did that. And then maybe a few years goes by and she called my office and she said, I just flew back in town. I was doing a self-exam and I felt something. And I said, well, let's come in and have you do a thermogram, but this time we're going to put a stat read on it. Well, the thermogram came back inconclusive. And I'm also not one of these kind of providers that holds my patient hostage. If I can't help you or I've reached the limits to which I can help you, I will send you to the next provider that can. So I referred her to an MD colleague of mine, and we had to do a breast ultrasound. And unfortunately, she came back as having breast cancer. But she wanted to take an integrated approach to her cancer treatment.
Okay.
So she wanted to make sure supplements, we integrated acupuncture, chiropractic, mind-body therapy. She integrated her pastor, so pastoral care. She did a whole, integrated approach. And in fact, she would be diagnosed, it was 6 years ago.
Wow.
It'll be 6 years ago on the 6th.
Wow.
And she's completely cancer-free.
That's awesome. That's amazing. That's amazing.
And so I still see her now, but, now we're just maintaining that good health that she was able to achieve. Absolutely.
But it came from all these different angles.
All these different angles working together.
That's awesome. Nice. So you can also, within your practice, you get along, I guess, for lack of a better term, with MDs?
I love MDs.
Good.
I was going to be an MD.
Sure. Yeah.
So for me, there's no animosity.
Yeah.
I just understand, my lane, and hopefully they'll understand, theirs. But I have plenty of OBGYN colleagues, nurse practitioners that we work with, orthopedists. I get referrals from orthopedic surgeons all the time because they understand, we're only going to do what's in the best interest of the patient.
Awesome.
And again, if we can't help or we reach the limits to which we can help, we're going to send that patient on to someone who can help them.
Got you. First of all, what is chiropractic?
Chiropractic is one of these things where most people don't know that the first person to receive a chiropractic adjustment was a man of color.
Interesting.
It was in Davenport, Iowa, and he had a hearing issue. And the first chiropractor, which was Dr. D.D. Palmer, actually performed a chiropractic adjustment on this man of color. His name was Harvey Lillard, and he regained his hearing. That's fact. So chiropractic, most people think is about popping bones and jumping on people's spines. And don't go on YouTube because there's a bunch of, there's a bunch of amazing things on YouTube, but there's also some fringe things on there.
Dr. K, it's too late for me.
But chiropractic is about optimal function of the nervous system. So your brain and spinal cord make up your central nervous system. Mm-hmm. And they control every organ, cell, and tissue in your body. And through stress, through trauma, poor posture, car accident, childbirth, that spine can become misaligned. And so you can change or decrease, the output capacity of the central nervous system. So all a chiropractic adjustment is making sure the spine is properly aligned so that the central nervous system can communicate with the human body at an optimal level. That's it.
So fascinating.
It's so simple. People want to make it. I mean, we can go more complicated, but that's it in a nutshell.
That's it in a nutshell. That is so cool. I feel like I'm imagining your practice right now, just like with all the things that you do, and I'm like, what isn't there in this place? Like I
said, if we don't have it, you don't need it. You don't need it. It'd be in here somewhere.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay, man, that is so.
And healthcare can be fun, Kim. Now
How?
Don't get me wrong. When it's time to be serious, we're serious, because to throw back to that patient success story, at the time she was a 52-year-old woman of color. Mm-hmm. You remember Snowmageddon when it happened here in Atlanta? Mm-hmm. Well, she was supposed to come in the office that day, and we were supposed to tell her that she had breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
Which we couldn't do because of the weather. So we had to do it on a conference call.
Oh.
So it was myself, the patient, and the MD.
Yeah.
And the MD ran through the test results so quick. And she said, yeah, you've got carcinoma. And listen, I'm going to send you on to one of my colleagues. But if you have any questions, call me, okay? What? And the patient's like, yeah, I don't have any questions. What? And so I'm sitting on this conference call, and I'm like, how could she not have any questions? And I called her back, and I said, you don't have any questions? She said, I have one. She said, what is carcinoma?
Shut up.
That is hand to Bible facts.
No
When
way.
I tell you, I think my heart dropped. I think I fainted like twice. All this happened like in a millisecond. I was like, she didn't hear anything, which meant I had to tell her what carcinoma was.
Wow.
I would love to have her on this show with me. She would do it. Just that's facts.
Wow. Mm-hmm. How did she take it when she finally understood what was going on?
I didn't let her really freak out about it. I said, look, this is a process. We're going to go through this process together. I said, as long as you believe that your body can be healed, that's the only thing we're going to focus on right now.
That's awesome.
That's it.
Yeah. This is an unfair question because you've already said that you customize your plans to the individual. But
okay,
if you would have the entire world take one step towards a healthier lifestyle, what would that one thing be? See, I told you it was an unfair question.
That's a very unfair question. Okay, one, drink more water.
Drink more water. How much water?
More than what you're drinking.
More than more.
I tell some of my patients, they're like, Doc, is it more than what you did yesterday?
Yeah.
More than what you did yesterday is what I would say.
Got you.
And I would tell patients that everybody take a good quality multivitamin.
Where do we find those? There are so many multivitamins on the market. I don't even know. I don't know where to start. Where do people start? Send them to you?
This is why. Send them to me. But, that disclaimer you hear, consult your physician before beginning. That's kind of why. But the problem with that statement is a lot of physicians are not trained to educate what type of supplements are needed. And, men have different needs than women. And women who are trying to conceive a child have different needs. And patients who have gone through cancer treatment have different needs. So there is no one size fits all, unfortunately, but we're all unique. Why would we even want a one size fits all?
Yeah.
And again, even as we go through life, our needs change. So this is why you want to work with a provider that will do testing and follow-up testing and make the appropriate changes. So one of my passions in my practice is vitamin D.
Okay.
Love vitamin D.
Say more about vitamin D.
Does amazing things. I actually teach a whole seminar on vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
And most people, it's called the Vitamin D Chronicles, because most people don't even know. I didn't even know vitamin D did all of this.
Right.
And unfortunately, people of color, we are disproportionately very low in vitamin D levels.
Why is that?
It has to do with the melanin, how much melanin you have in your skin. So melanin acts as a natural sun block.
Right.
So the more melanin you have, the longer it's going to take you to make vitamin D from the sun.
Okay.
And then most of us, especially if you even work a factory job or a corporate job, we're indoors. We're not outside as much as we used to. You know, the go play days are kind of over.
Gone. Unfortunately.
So we go basically from an office building to our cars, one building to the next,
right.
You know, the car back into the house. We're not even as outdoorsy as we used to be. The other thing, just to get overly technical, because I'm a nerd at heart,
I'm here.
A lot of it also has to do with the tilt of the earth on its axis. So the United States Navy runs this website, and you can put in your city and it will tell you, based on the city you live in, how much when you make vitamin D from the sun during a calendar year.
What?
So in Atlanta, you only make vitamin D from the sun between April and September.
So we ain't getting no vitamin D right now.
No.
That disrespectful.
It's good for your mind. You don't get
Sure.
outside, feel some sun on your skin, but are you making any vitamin D? Not really.
Wow. I had no idea that existed.
You just don't even know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. Amen to that. Okay, so multivitamin. So many multivitamins, at least so I've heard, don't have like pure ingredients or have fillers or
they have fillers, they have sugar, they have food coloring. This is one of the reasons why in my practice we're super particular in rather type A about the products we carry.
Lovely.
Because of telemedicine, Kim, I have patients all over the country.
Yeah.
So what we do is we ship our products or the products that we carry across the country. And sometimes even out of the country, because I want to know, no matter where my patient is, I'm going to get the same result.
Yes.
You know, are we going to be bypassing anything that's unnecessary? Like you said, sugar, fillers, artificial ingredients. Is it effective? I just want to bypass all of that. And so, like I said, the companies we work with, you have to be a licensed, professional to even deal with these companies. And a lot of them have seminars and educational roundtables on a regular basis to make sure that, we're staying on top of the latest and greatest health information.
Got you. Mm-hmm. I have a random question, just because we just talked about vitamin D. I actually have two random questions. Okay. So, vitamin D, I assume, does not come from drinking Sunny D, as the advertisers would have us believe. Or would have had us believe back in the 90s when Sunny D is Sunny D even still around? I don't even know.
I'm sure in a bomb shelter or something. I don't know. Probably. Shout out to Sunny D.
Shout out to Sunny D. I'm assuming that's not a good source of vitamin D.
Okay, so here's the thing. Most people, when you read food products or beverage products, you'll see where it'll say fortified with vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K, what have you. What does that actually mean? What that means is during the processing or the formulation of that product, something along the way caused all the naturally occurring vitamins and minerals to be stripped out. And then what they've done is on the back end, they've gone back and added those vitamins in there.
I see.
Usually, not all the time, but usually those vitamins and minerals are synthetic.
I see.
Thus the term fortified.
Got you.
That is correct.
Okay, my second random question. As a black woman, do I need to wear sunscreen in the summertime?
That's a loaded question.
Listen.
Ask me that off. Okay. Yes. Maybe. No.
Okay. We'll talk more about that off the air.
Yeah, because it also depends on where you are.
Okay.
Like where you are. Are you closer to the equator? Are you on vacation somewhere where the sunlight's more direct? How long are you going to be in the sun? Do you work in the sun? A lot of those things play into if you're going to wear sunscreen. Also, the strength with which, you're going to use, because they're not all created equal.
Got you. Mm-hmm. We'll talk more about that.
That's a whole 7 podcasts. I see 6 podcasts. I'll be.
Listen, we just need to have a standing podcast recording session.
I'm here for it.
Let's go. I am having so much fun. This is so cool. Okay, tell the people about Simplicity Beverage Company. Where did that? Okay, first of all, everybody, she is a full-on practitioner, and then she also is running this other company. Like, just kind of on the side, like, what, okay, Simplicity Beverage Company.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So I'm just gonna take over the world and disrupt the beverage industry. So Simplicity Beverage Company was born out of my practice of me educating patients, because when we think about healthy lifestyle, healthy living, we only think about food. We never discuss what we drink. We always feel like, well, what I drink is kind of not a topic for discussion. That's off the table.
Yeah.
You know, I'll eat these vegetables as long as you let me drink whatever I want.
The Diet Coke doesn't have any calories, so it doesn't count.
Exactly. Right. So your diet, beverage products have a lot of things and chemicals in there that are not always optimal for human health in large quantities.
I would imagine.
So it came from, like I said, me educating my patients. So I just started making beverages at home for myself. Again, because I said nutrition, love it, live it.
Live it.
So I was making them, and one day I had a little gathering at my house, and one of my family members said, you should probably sell these. And I thought, I don't have time to do that.
Yes.
And that's how Simplicity Beverage Company was born. So all organic cane sugar, very natural, high quality products, no food coloring, no dye, no preservatives.
Yeah.
We don't even heat pasteurize the product.
Yeah.
So I'll have to come back and talk to you guys and educate you about that whole...
That's the 7th podcast.
That's the 7th podcast because, again, most people don't even realize how their food is actually produced.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, a lot of times your food, and this includes fresh fruit and vegetables, sometimes arrives on your plate nutritionally dead on arrival. It might look good, might smell good, might taste good, but again, what's the nutrient density of that product? Gotcha. Might be DOA.
So what kinds of drinks? I think you've told me teas.
We have teas, we have lemonades, we have limeades. So just some really funky mashup of flavors.
Yes.
Just something totally different. Because again, healthcare, it can be fun. It doesn't have to be stuffy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, I'm in the corner. It can be fun. Like in my practice, my patients will tell you, we laugh a lot. Sometimes too much. Sometimes too much because you can't take yourself too seriously sometimes. You gotta,
Right. And
let your hair down if,
That's refreshing.
Figuratively speaking.
She's saying that because I have a fade. Yeah, you told me that the tagline is clean ingredients, complex flavors.
Exactly. So you'll be able to pronounce every single ingredient in that product.
Amen to that.
Readily recognizable at a grocery store or a farmer's market. This is not a science project.
Got you.
But I do want people to understand and become more aware of what they drink. Because a lot of times, like you said, patients will order, or people will order a ton of food, and they think if I order a diet beverage, that kind of negates all of that.
Yeah, no.
And it doesn't.
Yeah, not happening.
It doesn't happen.
Not happening.
No.
So
but
cool.
if you can, make a more informed selection, I want to make sure that Simplicity Beverage Company is out there. So if you are trying to make a more informed decision about, what you drink, we have an offering that will meet your needs.
So she's taking over the world. Where can people find that? Is it online? Are you just doing in person? Do you have a food truck?
We're working on all of that because, mind you, that has to be done after advanced integrated healthcare.
Right. After you're off from running the whole practice.
All of that is coming soon. Stand by.
Are you on social media yet, or is that standby as well?
Sort of, but standby on all of it. Give me 3 weeks.
Okay.
We're literally wrapping up.
Yes. Well, okay, so that's good because by the time this comes out, we'll be ready to go. So I'll check it back in with you.
By the time it's time for this podcast, everything will already be done.
Okay, good. So I'll make sure to check back in with you, get all the information I need, and make sure people can find that. Very cool. What other projects do you have going on? I think you sent me something, women's decoding female hormones. Is that a class?
That is a class. So for me, I've learned the hard way, never say out loud what I don't want to do. Because that's usually where I'll end up next. So I always said I would never teach. Teaching is horrible. And if I ever taught, I would never teach adults.
Look at you now.
Look at me now. I'm all about teaching adults and children and seniors. But for me, I feel like I was given all this information not to just keep to myself. We have to get this information out because, again, most people have more choices and more options when it comes to their health than they even realize. But if no one's talking to you about it, you're going to use, that same 2-3 pieces of information, which may not be beneficial or may be flat out outdated. And so I teach a series of seminars on various health topics, digestion, decoding female hormones, because again, a lot of women don't realize when we talk about some of the symptoms of hormone imbalance, a lot of women will say, I would have never thought that digestive issues had to do with my hormones. Or why is it that I'm 50 and I have more acne at 50 than I did at 15?
Right. Are those web-based classes, or are they in person?
They're usually in person, but we're going to be transitioning this year to doing a simulcast so that, we can have especially some of my out-of-state patients can tune in, watch, ask questions, and get the knowledge.
Yeah.
Or, I'm not opposed to taking the show on the road either.
Let's go on tour.
I'm all of it.
Let's go.
Yes, all of it.
Yes.
Any of it.
There's nothing
Most
she
of
won't
it.
tackle.
No.
There's nothing she won't tackle. That's great. All right. This has been a fun conversation. Let's start to wrap up here. Who would you like to give a shout out to on the show?
I would love to give a shout out to a colleague. His name is Dr. Brandon O'Neill. He's a dentist here in Metro Atlanta. He's actually up in Alpharetta, Georgia, for all you North Fulton Cobb Countyers.
God, y'all Northsiders.
Listen, we all need services. We need services.
Give some
everywhere.
love to the South Side. Shout out College Park, Ellenwood.
I'm kind of working on that.
Okay.
I'm kind of working on that. So we'll again, stand by. Stand by.
Got it.
But he's up in Alpharetta, but amazing customer service.
Cool.
And unfortunately, Black-owned businesses are not always synonymous with customer service.
Listen.
Not always synonymous with professionalism. And, he runs an amazing practice, very customer service oriented, very professional.
Yes.
He's been my personal dentist for more than a decade. So
good.
Anytime someone comes to me and I'm like, listen, he's not close.
Right.
Depending on where you live.
Right.
Just like my practice isn't close, but
Sure.
like I said, I have patients that come from, I'm in basically north part of Atlanta, and I have patients come from LaGrange, which is a good hour plus away.
Right.
I tell them, we're not the closest, but we're always worth the drive.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's good.
Shout out to Anil Smiles over on Main Street in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Awesome. And we'll be sure to link him up in the show notes as well. Shout out to Dr. O'Neill. Man, this has been really, really fun. What is ultimately the impact you want to leave in the world?
I want people to be more educated. We all strive to get grown, and I want to make my own decisions, and that's amazing. I just want people to make their decisions with 100% of the information. And one of my mentors always taught me, if you can't teach it, you don't know it. So just using, the platforms and the opportunities like this podcast and everything else, just to educate people.
Yeah.
You may not need this information now. The information may not even be for you. It could be to pass along to someone else. I just want people to be more educated, because as people of color, we suffer disproportionately with so many health issues. We stay in the dialysis centers. We stay on high blood pressure medication. We stay diabetic. Well, what is it about us that, when you look at other cultures, they don't have the same issues we have?
Right.
So is it, a lack of doing better? Is it a lack of information? Is it both? I just want to do my part to make sure whatever decision you make, do it with more information.
That's really exciting. Well, thank you for all the information you've shared today.
Thank you.
And
this was amazing.
We'll have you on again to dive deeper into some of these subjects. I can't wait
to questions, feedback, emails.
Please,
like
guys,
I said, we take patients all over the country. So we can work with people pretty much anywhere.
Absolutely. And we will post her information on the show notes so you can find her. And I'm going to read off her social media stuff here just to make sure I'm right. So I've got you at Facebook. Facebook at Advanced Integrated Healthcare. Same thing on Pinterest at Advanced Integrated Healthcare. Look out for the Decoding Female Hormones class. Where can people find that? Would that be on the website? Or? That's
going to eventually be on the website.
Okay.
Normally I would have taught that class by now, but I try to do it the first quarter of every year. So stand by. We're just looking for a location just to make sure we can do our social media, and our live cast at the same time.
Cool. And the website is www.advancemyhealth.com. And again, I'll link it in the show notes. But this has been a conversation with Dr. Bianca Kiovanni, owner of Advanced Integrated Healthcare. What can't she do? Thanks for coming on. We'll have you on again in the future for sure. Dr. K, that was amazing. So informative. And we for sure will have you back on again to dive deeper into some of these subjects, because there are a lot of questions out there. People don't know where to start. There's just so much that we have to learn about medicine and holistic care. So thank you again for your time. And I also just found Simplicity Beverage Company on Instagram, and so I'll be sure to link that company in the show notes so people could follow them on Instagram, and we can, know when you guys are doing pop-ups or when you're in stores or whatever's next for you guys. I'm really excited about that. Send your questions for the next time Dr. K comes on. If you have a topic you want us to hit on or a question you want her to address, send that to Kim@themoneyfreedommovement.com and let me know you have a question for Dr. K. I had a great time with her and definitely would love to make this a regular thing for us to connect and answer questions for you guys. So themoneyfreedommovement.com is the website. My handles are @KimWren2009, Instagram, LinkedIn, now Twitter. Again, I bit the bullet and got back on there. Same with Facebook. There's just still people there. So I'm back on those platforms. But anyways, all right. So Kim Wren, your podcast host, your local money freedom coach. Check out the website and sign up to know when the Money Freedom Training Center opens. Working on content for that every single day, and we'll be so excited to release it for you guys. So follow that on the website, sign up for the email list, and until next time, be relentless in the pursuit of your freedom. Take care, y'all.